Yeah. Welcome to the Bullheaded Podcast. We're having technical difficulties, but hopefully we can get through this. This is the host, Sean Tyson, here with Zoo and Peebush. How you guys doing?
Bulls are back, baby. Bulls are back. Chi-Town is back. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Zalonzo Ball dropping tray balls. Big Baller Brand is back. It is beautiful to watch, man. It is beautiful to watch the Chicago Bulls. They are a legitimate team. They are a top 4 team like I predicted. But what I didn't predict, they might be a championship contender this year because everybody hurting, but the Bulls are thriving.
Yeah.
Thriving.
It's them the Wizards, Zoo.
Who would have thought?
At this point, that's the top of the East.
Dude, that's the biggest
crazy.
surprise. Like Bradley Beal is not even playing well, and they're winning games because of their defense. And the Wizards, they don't play defense. Like, man, they got a hell of a new coach. Wes Unseld Jr., man. He's doing a hell of a coaching job with these boys because it's Bradley Beal, a bunch of role players, and they're getting it done. So props to him, man. He might win Coach of the Year because of that job. Because you know my thoughts about Scotty Brooks. Scrubby dubby, man. He runs that 2K offense. ISO every play, man. Pretty standard offense. So Scotty Brooks, take a seat.
Yeah, we had a lot of NBA madness last night and first couple of games of the season. But we're going to start with the NFL so far. A couple of interesting things that happened over the weekend, including last night with the 49ers and the Rams. You know, there was a lot of anticipation with Odell coming in and everybody saying it's a super team and the Rams only giving up a couple of draft picks and things of that nature. But we wanted to ask the guys what they think about that game last night and some of the interesting things that happened over the NFL break. And Zoo, I'm going to start with you since we lost Peebush, and I think we got him back. Let's see. We got him back again. So
he's back, man. He's back.
Gotta love the Chicago Wi-Fi here. It's just atrocious, man.
I'm telling you, man. The Bulls are tearing the city. I'm telling you, bro.
Dude, they've ripped up the power grid damn near.
But I'm going to go to you, Zoo. What was your interesting thoughts about Week 10?
Week 10, man. Odell Beckham looking like a scrubby dubby, man.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy. Like production-wise, okay, you got Matt Stafford now. He's a legitimate quarterback, even though he playing like trash the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Man. Like people call him like Matt Stafford, not more like Jared Goff right now because like, he's looking like Jared Goff right now. He's looking a little sad. Like they traded a lot of asses to get this dude in. He's not showing up right now, and I don't know what's going on. Like the NFL is one of those leagues that I can't predict anything right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like these upsets, man. Like dude, the 49ers, man. Like. They've been injured all year, man. In and out with players, man. Like they have definitely underachieved this year, and they beat the brakes off the Rams with an upgrade. We got Von Miller, Odell Beckham. Obviously, they got their chemistry together, but talent-wise, just looking at on paper, that team is money on paper, man. They're going for a Super Bowl, and they got embarrassed on national television. So I'm just like, man, what I gotta say, NFL, man, keep surprising me.
Yeah.
But one thing that didn't surprise me was Patrick Mahomes is back, man. 5 tutties, man. He's back, man.
About time.
That didn't surprise me at all. The only thing that surprised me was him struggling. But he back against the Oakland Raiders, and nobody cares about the Vegas Raiders. Forgot what city they're from because they're so irrelevant. But yeah, they're looking like ass again, man. The Vegas Raiders. What a joke.
Yeah. I would probably say the Vegas Raiders are not in contention anymore. And Kansas City jumped straight to the top after this week. After their last 2 weeks, I think they're top of the division. It's crazy how 2 weeks, a lot of people, including myself, was kind of being like, I don't know, we might bury them and they might not be a part of the AFC playoff picture. But it's just a proven fact that we have to make sure that Mahomes is still at the top. And, it's going to be interesting. Still, like I say, it's the middle of the football season, but it's still a lot of, I guess you say, football to go. So we're going to see how these last couple of weeks turn out. Peebush, what are your thoughts on Week 10?
This was a weird week, man. I mean, we had the Panthers coming through. That was probably one of the bigger games. I know the Cardinals, they're down two of their two best players for 2 weeks in a row. That's their second straight game they both missed. James Conner obviously wasn't able to step out. The Panthers do have a pretty damn solid defense. I think that's something that a lot of people put past them. But with Cam Newton coming back, man, I know we'll probably dive into it here in a minute. The couple plays that he came in, he was an immediate impact, throwing a touchdown, rushing for a touchdown. And if they can eventually run the option with him and McCaffrey, I'm interested to see where they'll end up going because they are the 7th seed right now in the wild card. And with the Saints kind of, being in a little murky waters, in my opinion, that could be pretty wide open for them to shoot for that 6-7 spot. So NFC South is wide open. We saw the Bucks get exposed a little bit by the football team.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
it was a weird week, man. Like
Heineke. What?
Yeah, could be the new starter, man. He's really athletic and he makes very good decisions late in the game. I was surprised at some of those throws he was making to McLaurin and over to Adam Humphries. So it was a weird week to watch, that's for sure. Lots of ups and downs.
Yeah, but what's it called? The New England Patriots, man. We might have to be talking about them as legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Because what Belichick has done with the rookie quarterback, the dominant 45-7 against the Cleveland Browns. 45 he dropped 45 points on a team that has a good defense.
Really good
My
defense.
Lord, man. And they're without the starting running back, man. They just put some random Joe in. What was his name? Stevenson, man. Looking like an RB1, 20 carries, 100 yards, and 2 tutties. It don't even matter, man. Mac Jones with a nice little 200-yard game with 3 tutties. Like, what Bill Belichick has done this year.
Game.
Yeah, man. With this team, like 45 points and offensively, I don't think their weapons that great, man. They're not that great of weapons, man. Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, pretty mediocre wide receivers, man. Hunter Henry is one of those dudes that somehow gets a touchdown a game. But I'm just watching this New England team, man. I remember I picked them as my dark horse. They scared me with a little rough start, but they've been competitive in games, and now they're rolling right now. They're rolling, and I'm just like, damn, the Patriots, man, might be making some noise this year.
They could have. I mean, I think they'll win the division. I don't see the Bills. They've been struggling, man. I mean, they just stomped down the Jets. We understand that, but that 9-6 performance against the Jags. I don't know. I'm not 100% bought into them. I don't think that they utilize their running game enough. I know that Zoo doesn't like their running backs, and that's fine, but I think they should try and leverage their tandem in the backfield more, because I think they do have such an easy schedule being in that division. Having to play kind of an iffy Colts team, and then obviously we saw what happened to them against the Jags. So they're not proving that much to me. I could see Zoo Patriots. I got them right now. Bet to win the division right now. I got them at plus 1,000. It was a hell of a bet.
That was a good
that and the preseason Bulls had to just throw that in there since that was in the discussion earlier to win it all. So I'll bring that up every week.
That might be really good money right now.
Yeah, that could be really good money. So, but back to the NFL. I mean, Mac Jones, he's definitely up there for offensive rookie of the year. I think it'll end up coming down to him and Jamar Chase, but both being in the AFC. So I'm interested to see what happens with that team, especially when Damian Harris comes back. But clearly they can use 3rd, 4th string running back and still get 100 yards a game. So it's pretty ridiculous to watch what Bill Belichick can do. 2001 vibes right here, man. 2001, young Tom Brady.
True.
Yeah. His ceiling looks really like his ceiling. I wouldn't say it's Tom Brady, but he's definitely out of all the rookie quarterbacks so far. He's looking like the most consistent one. Now, I wouldn't say he has the highest ceiling, but I will say he definitely has the one that's like, okay, 5 to 10 years from now, is he going to be the most consistent? You're probably going to look to him. Like, I could definitely see him out of all the rookie quarterbacks keeping his job. One thing I just thought about, and when I was looking at the schedules for the certain divisions around the league, the Cam Newton situation, I feel like it's interesting to monitor, just because if he does find his groove and Tampa Bay kind of doesn't fall off the cliff, but kind of stays, like lose a game, win a game, lose a game, it could get interesting in that division because they play Carolina the last, I think, 2 out of the last 3 weeks. So they play them in week 15 and week 17. So say, for instance, if the division is not out of reach and it's coming down to Carolina and Tampa Bay, if Cam Newton finding his stride in that last couple of weeks, it could get interesting for the or the Buccaneers in terms of them making the playoffs, because the NFC's got a lot of stacked teams. I don't think the Rams, I think yesterday was kind of it's the NFL, man. I feel like you got to come to play every week, and there's going to be a team that's not as good as you is going to beat you. But I do think the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Packers are the class of that division. And after that is some other teams too. But that's going to be interesting to see if Carolina could maybe pull off that division. Now, Cam's got to show me something in this next week if he starts. Okay, is he going to be consistent? Is he going to be able to like maybe not turn the ball over? Because I think in the game last that he played was some small sample size. So I want to see him in a full game to see, okay, he's actually really back. But yeah, with McCaffrey coming back and that defense, one thing about Tom Brady that you have to have is you got to have ends and you got to have defensive linemen that's going to be able to get after him to make him uncomfortable. So that's one division race I'm going to have my eye on it looking for going forward.
Absolutely. And I think that and the funny thing is we get to watch him play the football team next week, man. So we'll get to actually compare how the Bucs played against them and then the Panthers.
Yeah.
So, you know, Panthers do have a better defense than the Buccaneers. I think we can all probably agree on that overall.
And they lost their big time nose tackle too. I think he got injured.
Yeah, Vita Vea, right?
Yeah, Vita.
Yeah, Vita. But I'm actually most interested to see if, you know, Cam Newton can kind of pick things up quickly with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson.
Yeah. Because
if they can get Robbie Anderson going, a guy who has been extremely non-existent since his couple good years there in on the Jets, if he can get a serious 1-2 combo and then be able to have the option in the back pocket with McCaffrey, that's a team to watch, man, because they could end up being a complete team, but it's pretty much all on Cam's shoulders at this point.
So I think we're going to look at more into the division races in this next topic. Kind of want to get the guys' ideas on not so much the division races, but also the quarterback situations. We're pretty much halfway through the NFL season, and it's been a lot of ups and downs for a lot of teams with quarterbacks and the play of different types of quarterbacks. So I wanted to ask the guys, what quarterbacks could you see teams moving on from? What quarterbacks could you see maybe give them another year or two, and things of that nature? And P-Bush, I'm going to start with you.
I think Jimmy G saved his job last night. I honestly think he did. That was a big win.
Do you mean Deebo Samuels?
Yeah,
Deebo was a beast.
He was a beast. But look, I mean, they didn't ask. You can't ask Jimmy G to do too much. If you make him throw 50 times a game, he's going to blow the game for you. But they asked him to throw 19 times. He hit 15 of those, completed them. 202 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he got Kittle involved. So they keep saying Trey Lance isn't ready. I know that that was kind of the topic of last night.
Yeah.
But, whenever somebody brings up Trey Lance and Jimmy G. But, the way that they beat them, I know their running game, they were using Deebo as a running back, which was genius, in my opinion, by Kyle Shanahan to take advantage. But I think you just have to let Jimmy G, at least ride it out for this year. Absolutely. Have him try and make a push with the Seahawks kind of fumbling a little bit. The Rams and Cardinals have both lost not 2 in a row each, but Rams have lost 2 in a row, and Kyler's iffy. So I don't know, man. At this point, it's tough to just take Jimmy G out and throw Trey Lance in. I think they'll just let him learn for an entire year. But I do think Jimmy G was the quarterback on the hottest seat, if not maybe Baker Mayfield at this point.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
That was my pick, man. Baker Mayfield. This dude, man, like he wants to get paid next year, right? He wants to get paid. But the problem is if they pay him, they can't get him all the weapons around him, man. They can't have 2 RB1s no more. They can't have an elite defense. Can't have elite wide receiver weapons. Like the whole reason Baker Mayfield's relevant is because he's on a really, really stacked team.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets paid, those pieces are going to start falling, man. They can't be able to pay everybody. And what we've seen from Baker Mayfield is he's not a great quarterback. I don't even think he's a good quarterback. He's that average, quarterback, man. Mm-hmm. Like he's average, maybe even a little below average, man, because Baker Mayfield cannot carry a franchise. Baker Mayfield cannot lead a franchise. Baker Mayfield is more closer to Teddy Bridgewater. Than Aaron Rodgers, man, on that scale. Like, you have a guy that carries a franchise and a guy that just rides the train, man. He's just trying to get the boat. Just don't want to crash, man. He just doesn't want to crash, man. He's 180 yards a game. So that's what Baker Mayfield, he has the persona. He wants to be a study in all those commercials, but you ain't that good. And I feel like
he does have a lot of commercials.
Oh, dude, he does, man. He has as many commercials probably Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. Yeah. Like this dude is not that big. It's not that big time of a quarterback. So I feel like the Cleveland Browns are going to be smart and move on from him. And I think Case Keenum can actually suffice as a quarterback. Yeah. And I feel like they could use the money in a smarter way and build around Case Keenum a better way, or maybe find a new guy. But Baker Mayfield is not the answer. Giving him $30 million. You're going to regret that. You're going to regret that, man. So Baker Mayfield, I think he might be out of Cleveland soon.
I may ask you a question. So would Baker, because this year's quarterback draft, and other teams
pretty bad,
have
right?
quarterback,
bad.
Oh, And like you said, I feel like every year, even though last year was an anomaly, because they did have a lot of guys that were good, like actually really good quarterbacks or have really good potential. And I feel like when the draft comes along, they start doing their pro days, and everybody's like, "Oh, this quarterback is actually better." But I think as overall, it's not a good class. So, what would you do in terms of like Baker if you were Cleveland? If you look at the landscape and you don't see any potential free agent, like I don't know if there's any other teams that have backups or potential free agents, you can be like, okay, we can use him. Would you just franchise him and then maybe wait till next year and get a quarterback, or would you just go completely and just not pay him at all and just be like, all right, we're done and move on?
I mean, I don't even think he's worth what a
franchise said, yeah.
Okay, we lost P. Bush again, man. He's talking about a franchise tag, and he's not even worth it. And I agree,
pay, what, the top something high percentage of what?
Yeah.
We lost him again, man.
We lost him again.
Man, Xfinity, man. You guys are taking a fat L right now, man.
I know Xfinity got to get on it, man.
Yeah,
hey, is he the Spectrum? Is he the Spectrum, or what's yours?
Verizon Files, baby.
Yeah,
Spectrum or Verizon Files, man. Step up your game, because this is some embarrassing ass internet right now. You know what this is? This is an infomercial to not to get Xfinity.
I'm going to put that as my name. Do not get Xfinity.
Do not get Xfinity. Yeah, I'm like, look at his lag. Like, first of all, he's blurry and he ain't moving right now, man. So you lost a loss on HD resolution and, man, that processing power. So Xfinity, embarrassment. And now disconnection.
Let's see if he can get it back.
Let's see if he can be back like the Bulls. But all we see is a dark screen.
Oh, we lost him. Oh man, it's crazy. Xfinity, man, y'all gotta get on it. For real. But yeah, so would you pay Baker, or would you just move on?
I'll move on.
Not even a franchise.
If I'm desperate, if I got Case Keenum, I like Case Keenum, man. You go win a couple games with Case Keenum, man. Especially the run style offense, man. You go win some games with Case Keenum, so I can settle with Case Keenum, man. I move on from Baker Mayfield, and we got Pat back and that.
I'm just going to pipe it and say, I agree with you. You said put Case Keenum in for a year. That's all you need, because you never know who's going to come in, 2-3 years down the road. And I think you could get Case, if you wanted to give him a contract. I'm not sure what his deal is right now, but if you just want to give him, $5-6 million a year for 2-3 years, why not just ride that out? He did lead the Vikings into the playoffs. Yeah. And you led the Vikings in Minneapolis Miracle. So he has some experience.
Yeah, he won some playoff games, so better than Baker, man.
Yeah. That's probably the only two quarterbacks. Like, I kind of think with the 49ers, I do agree Jimmy G saved his job, but I also think that if the 49ers don't make a run here and get to the playoffs somehow, Kyle Shanahan's going to kind of feel the pressure to put Trey in there, because they did trade a lot of capital to get Trey. So I feel like there's going to be a market for Jimmy G maybe if Kyle's like, okay, look, we didn't have the season we wanted to have. I know you kind of did your thing, but we kind of got to move on and see if Trey can play. Because to me, you can't trade all that capital, draft capital, and players or whatever they traded, and just have him sit on the bench for 2 years. So I could maybe see a market for Jimmy G. Like, say if Jimmy G came open, I'd like him in Cleveland, because I don't think Jimmy G's he's a step above Baker. He's not a great quarterback, but I think he's a step above Baker, and maybe that could lift that. Because in that division, you got to have a QB, because Lamar said, Joe Burrow said, and Pittsburgh, even though Big Ben's on the way out, I feel like Pittsburgh's organization is just going to figure it out. Yeah, they're going to figure it out. So I just feel like you kind of got to get a quarterback in that division. So maybe you want to wait, maybe you don't. But Jimmy G could become available, because I just think they're going to put Trey in and try to get him to, have a fast start next year. And I think kind of with his legs, I think Kyle Shanahan, because we all know he likes to run the ball, I think he likes to do a lot of stuff with the quarterback running. And not saying Jimmy G's a bad athlete, but I just don't think could do what Trey could do. So that's pretty much all the other teams. I will say an interesting thing that I saw in terms of quarterbacks that I saw Sunday was when Russell played Aaron. Russell could be a quarterback that could be on the move. I think he could be the next quarterback that's like, all right, I don't know what his contract situation is, but he's like, all right, I want to get out of here. Because I know he likes DK, but I just think he's done with Pete Carroll. I don't think
that game was awful, man.
Yeah.
I've never seen Russell Wilson play worse in my entire life.
Yeah, people want to say he was injured, but
and as a guy who started him, that was a very embarrassing performance. 5 fantasy points, atrocious, disrespectful to the game of football. Should have just taken another week off, because pretty much he did.
Yeah. I actually had the benefit of playing Russell this week, so shout out to Russell. that was part of the reason why I was happy with that. I was like, because that was what I was afraid. I was like, God, he's gonna come back like game busters. And then when I saw it was snowing, I was like, maybe it'll be a situation where he'll like just have a couple play action passes. And then I saw again, I was like, I think I went off to something else, and then I was like, he only got like 2 or 3 fantasy points right now, and I was like, let's go. So
yeah, dude, that game was awful because I also had Aaron Jones, my man Aaron Jones, hurt his MCL, man. He had to leave the game, and do you know what happens? The freaking backup AJ Dillon got 2 touchdowns at the 1-yard line, man. Those would have been Aaron Jones tutties, man. But he got injured. But only shouts to Aaron Jones. He will be back in 1 to 2 weeks because
he'll be
minor sprain.
Yeah, so and I would actually probably because that division is so. Not for fantasy. I know you want him to play, but I think.
Yes, I did. all I needed was 10 fucking yards, man.
Yeah.
Give me 10 yards.
Yeah, I think he'll be back quick though, because MCLs are not as bad as like an ACL or PCL or something like that. So, get into this last topic. We wanted to kind of make our daily, every other 2 weeks NBA update. We might have to do it without P. Bush because Xfinity is kicking his ass right now. So we might have to make an update on that. But I wanted to get Zoo's thoughts on some of the NBA happenings right now with certain number of teams, and you guys know where he's about to start. So Zoo, what are your thoughts on the NBA season so far?
The only team that matters, the Chicago Bulls, baby. The Chicago Bulls, man. My Lord, I have not been hyped for this Bull since D Rose's MVP season, man. D Rose's MVP season, that was the most hype I've ever been watching every game. I'm back on that train, baby. I'm back on that train watching every single Chicago Bulls game. They took some L's against Joel Embiid, who pretty much owns the Chicago Bulls. Never lost. The guy's like 9-0 against the Chicago Bulls. He legitimately owns us. But outside of Joel Embiid, my Lord. Lonzo! Stop it. The only thing he needs to get better, you got to get that mid-range, man. DeMar DeRozan, hire that dude. Teach him how to shoot some mid-range jump shots because Lonzo got no mid-range game, man. I don't know why. The minute he goes below the three-point line, air ball, misses, ugly-ass shot, man. I don't know why.
I feel like that's the NBA today, though.
What?
I feel like that's like the NBA today. Like who's like there's like what 3
DeMar DeRozan, mid-range assassin, 38 points, man, on the Lakers, man. DeMar owns LA, man. He's from Compton, LA, man. He
it's
owns
personal.
them, man.
It's personal.
It is personal.
Yeah.
And the craziest thing is, news came out. DeMar DeRozan, he said that he thought he was going to be a Los Angeles Laker. He was talking to LeBron James of joining him in LA, even taking a pay cut to play with LeBron, try to win a championship in his hometown. And do you know what the Lakers did?
Shit,
after that, Russell Westbrook. They chose Russell Westbrook.
He got a payday with the Bulls. I don't think.
Oh my Lord,
yeah,
man!
He got paid.
He got paid. Shout out to DeMar DeRozan. He deserves every penny, man. Even more, man. Even more. He's playing like an MVP caliber player right now. But shout outs to the Lakers for saying bye bye to Caruso. Shout out to the Lakers saying we want Russell Westbrook over DeMar DeRozan because those assets on the Chicago Bulls, hallelujah, baby.
Appreciating very quickly.
Oh, my goodness, man. Caruso's defense, Lonzo's defense, DeRozan's mid-range assassin game. Chicago Bulls are legit, baby. And it's beautiful to watch. I've been watching every single game. It's been beautiful. The NBA has been beautiful because you know why? Because the Bulls are back, man. And they're the only team that matters. We go for a championship now, man. We're going for a championship. We're making the playoffs top 4 seed prediction, but I'm upgrading my position of saying no Kyrie in Brooklyn. The freaking Milwaukee Bucks are not even in the playoffs right now because of injuries. And you know my thoughts about the Milwaukee Bucks. Last year was fluky. Giannis with a bunch of nice players, man. Chris Middleton, all-star caliber player. But my Lord, we got 2 all-star caliber players, man. We got 2 all-stars. DeMar DeRozan probably be starting right now if they started voting for all-star players right now. And Zach LaVine will definitely make it because the dude's averaging 26, 5-5 on a broken finger. Like, wait till he heals that.
Is that on his shooting hand?
Offhand.
Oh, okay.
And you know what's funny, Zoo? At least he probably won't even make a return video for breaking his finger, right? Like Russell Wilson. But
Lord, that was embarrassing. Return video? He didn't barely return, man. He got me 5 fantasy points, man. 5 fantasy points as a fantasy quarterback. Embarrassing. But shout out to Russell Wilson for scrubbing it up. Bye-bye. I'm talking about the Chicago Bulls, baby. They're beautiful, man. They're back.
So I do want to comment on your Lonzo Ball comment about mid-range, dude. because I think he changed his jump shot so much when he came into the league that he did it only for 3-pointers.
3-point.
I feel like when he practiced his new shot, he only did it from a certain range.
Threes.
He only did threes because everybody was like, he can't shoot threes. He can't shoot threes. He can't shoot threes. And so then he just completely neglected, from 12 feet to 18 or 20 feet, whatever you want to call it. And maybe that'll be the next step because, the good players we've seen Chris Paul do it. We've seen Kawhi Leonard do it. LeBron, they all take steps throughout their career and add something to their game that maybe people were exploiting on defense. And that's his next step. But I don't know if this is the year to do it because he's got two boys next to him that are just hitting every mid-range shot available. So he might as well just snipe from three. So at this point, it's like, I'm just watching them. I'm like, they can't miss a shot, man. They can't miss a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy about it.
Well,
man.
I think DeMar is definitely the mid-range assassin. That's been his calling card his entire even when he was with Toronto, his entire career. That's just what he's been good at. He kind of got phased out as he got older, but like now that he's got
the new rules, baby.
That are snipers,
the new rules, man. I'm telling you,
they're
benefiting certain
lot.
players, man. The physicality, man. More physical players that don't flop. Let's fucking go, baby.
You saw Harden, and I don't know if Trey said anything about it, but I know they kind of voiced their displeasure about it, which is just going to happen because that's what they do. And good NBA players, or not good, but great NBA players like Harden and Trey, they're going to have to figure it out, and they usually do because scorers know how to score. But I was listening to a podcast about you talking about Lonzo and his like shooting and like his maturation with mid-range and all that stuff. And I saw something where it was on a podcast. They were saying that he had, when he was in UCLA, when he's at UCLA, they used like a different type of, I think it's a Wilson ball, and he shot like really good in college. And then when he got to NBA, he started using the Spalding ball, and he got better each year, even though he started off awful. He got better each year, and now they switched back to Wilson, and he's having his best shooting percentage. And they say this because he likes the Wilson ball, and I kind of believe that, bro, because if you've ever played basketball, if there are certain balls that just pause that like have
the Wilson evolution is goated as the greatest indoor basketball.
It's got a different feel to him. Yeah, like it's a different type of texture and all that stuff. And I could totally see why a basketball could have a different type of feel and players can shoot differently. Because this year, I think the percentages have gone down, but for Lonzo, it's gone up because I think that's the type of basketball he likes to shoot. So that might be a thing.
And he's open a lot, man.
Yeah.
He opened a lot. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine get a lot of double teams now, man. And all Lonzo got to do, just camp outside, man. Hit those threes. Dude, he's a true 3-and-D player, man. He's a 3-and-D player with a side of unbelievable passing.
Yep. That pass to Zach LaVine on that 360 dunk. Oh, that was nasty.
Dude,
one of the better highlights of the year.
That was a fucking basketball orgasm, man. That was so beautiful. Man. That fucking pass. I was like, 360. Oh, yes.
Shy Slamma-Jamma.
Slamma-Jamma, man. Oh, God.
I think in the East though it's just gonna. I think Milwaukee. I'm not gonna give up on them. I think still they're gonna have that hangover. I don't think they're gonna make the playoffs.
You think it'll go back to the NBA Finals? They ain't that good.
I'm not gonna count them out. It's like I think every team that wins the championship, they always start off slow the next year.
But making it back to the finals back-to-back years, you got to be an elite team. Bucks are not elite; they're a nice, good team.
Well, but see, the thing is just I get it, but it's like, dude, when it comes to playoff time, like we got to see certain. That's the only thing about reservation about Chicago. I just got to see them in the playoffs. Like they're good. They're
DeMar
a great team, but it's like DeMar DeRozan's got.
He's gonna be dropping 28 in the playoffs, man.
I gotta say it in the playoffs.
He's gonna be dropping 30 points in the playoffs.
I will say defense does carry in the playoffs because everybody says every year you gotta be able to shoot threes. But if you look at the last two champions, the Lakers and the Bucks, they were really good defensive teams. So defense does matter.
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, and people always try to say like it doesn't matter, but it really does because getting those possessions.
It's defense and offense wins championships, man.
Yeah, of course.
You need both. You need both, man.
But most teams nowadays can put up 115 easy.
Who's
you got to be the team that is able to hold that type of team to maybe 105. That difference right there, man, is always on the defensive end in this day and age.
Yeah, and then in the playoffs, it's like. The reason why it's like I don't give up on teams like, and I'm not saying I'll give up on like the Nets or because I haven't really watched the Nets this year really that much at all.
You You see that butt whipping the Nets got from the Chicago Bulls? I saw that butt whipping. That was the only Nets game I needed to watch. My Bulls tearing that ass up, baby.
Yeah. It's like I want to see how the season progresses because, like I say, I do think the East. If we were to start the playoffs today, I think the matchup in the East would be crazy because it's like you honestly could pick either other in the top maybe 6 seeds. You can be like, okay, either team if they get matched up in the top 6 or whatever, they could win that series because the East, like I said, I feel like is deeper than the West this year. Now the West is going to have some injuries with like Denver and a couple teams where they may look differently at the middle of the season, but I am going to be interested to see how the East comes back. Like I say, the Chicago Bulls do look good right now, but when it comes to championship teams, like it's going to be matchups. And when we come into the playoffs, like if I were a Bulls fan, I am excited with the 2 guards that I got, but you still don't have anybody to guard KD and you have nobody to guard Giannis if it's the playoffs. So
Derrick Jones Jr. Shout out to Derrick Jones Jr. This guy is a 40-inch vertical, and he was shutting down Anthony Davis, man.
Yeah, and then what? Zoo, the third quarter happened. He puts up 14 in the third quarter and gets ejected. I mean,
no. You know what happened? You know what happened? Because Tony Bradley was guarding him, man. And do you know what Tony Bradley is? The second coming of Cristiano Felicio. This dude is in a scrub. Tony Bradley can't catch a basketball. Dude,
one turnover.
Stop it. I just remember. I lost the ball. I don't know how to catch. He got butter on his hands, man. Wash your hands, man. Get some Purell on those hands, Tony Bradley, because the man doesn't know how to catch a damn basketball. My Lord, Tony Bradley is trash.
Giannis would back Derrick Jones Jr. down so easily. It's not even funny. He would abuse him and drop 50 and 20 on him. That's guaranteed. No. That's guaranteed.
Vooch. I'm putting Vooch on.
Sure, yes. When Vucevic comes back, he can hold the zone. He did pretty well in the first game against Embiid defensively. Second game, not so much. Obviously, Embiid had COVID and pretty much gave it to Vucevic.
I didn't Embiid gave my boy COVID, man.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if they can. Sean, I agree with you. I don't think they can match up with those guys. Yeah. But at the same time, if that's their only option that is working, I'd still take the Bulls because the Bulls just have so many people that can kill you on offense that it's just exhausting to guard that entire team because they move the ball so well and pretty much everybody on the floor can shoot a 3.
4-guard lineup, baby. We got 4 guards and 1 big, man. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I think, like I say, I just think it's just going to have to be because I think Zoo asked you to make it to the finals. I just think with Milwaukee and like I said, the Nets, Kyrie situation, that's probably not going to happen. But those teams have been in big leverage situations. So they're not like the Bulls. It's like it's like the same thing if you look at like any team where they're like the new kid on the block. You got to prove yourself. Like the guy that's the champion or that's been there, they're looking at you like, okay, we see you over there making noise. It's like when y'all get to the playoffs like that. Because it is a thing about like, you know what it reminds me of? Like, it's like, I can't even think of an NFL team that's like kind of because usually the NFL team was a lot about the blue bloods, but it's just kind of like
the Bills.
They're a newer team. Like the Bills were really hot last year, and it's like they came in and they almost made it. But then it's like when the money reached the road in the playoffs, it's like Pat Mahomes and all them have been there before. So it's like it's so early. Like I think the Bulls are definitely going to be a top 4 seed. It's just I got to see because playoffs is just a different monster. It's like I got to see the matchups.
Different monster. You know what the playoffs is? Do you know what the playoffs is? Scale basketball. You know what I got? Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, 2 of the most skilled basketball players in the NBA, baby. DeMar DeRozan's ISO game made for the playoffs. Zach LaVine's freaking pull-up 3, hand in the face, bad shot for everybody else except for Zach LaVine. You saw that 3 against the Lakers. He just fucking chucked in the corner. Yeah. I was like, what are you doing? Oh, you made it. Stop it, Zach. Stop embarrassing me. Man.
Zach isn't scoring. Zach isn't scoring.
It doesn't matter, man. Hand in the face, terrible shots, terrible shot makers. We got 2 of them.
I think they have a legit shot for the Eastern Conference Finals. I think we could all agree.
I said,
they have a shot.
If the Atlanta Hawks can make the Eastern Conference Finals, come on.
Bubble year. Let's not kind of
off of a bubble or whatever type of.
Yeah, you know where the Atlanta Hawks are? Bubble. You know where the Atlanta Hawks are right now? 6-9, man, winning 40% of their games, man.
It's just hard right now. Yeah,
15 games in. I mean, you can't really.
We'll wait till 25 games, man. That's almost over.
It's a decent metric.
By at least January, I'll be like, okay, this is where we're going to be looking with certain teams.
Yeah.
Like I said, the East, like I said, I would feel a whole lot better if the Bulls were in the West. It's just the East is just deep, dude. Like these teams that like are so bad watched, like when especially teams like Atlanta, like if any of those teams get in the playoffs, like they're gonna have confidence, and that's gonna
the
matter.
Wizards.
Like the
Okay, if we get the Wizards, I'm clapping my hands.
If y'all get the Wizards like that,
What
What are you talking about, Zoo? They're gonna hold that 1 seed the whole season, man.
Man, stop it.
If they listen, I wonder if that whoever has money on that and that actually happens, that's gonna be a big cash out.
Yeah,
there's probably a
they're
sicko Wizards fan.
bottom
right
4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's probably
weird.
the most surprising because I definitely didn't think all their pieces were going to fit. But like you say, their coaches coaching his ass.
Wes
off,
Unseld, man. My
he's
God.
gonna get Bradley Beal to stay probably because I don't think he's gonna go anywhere after this year.
He might.
I think he's got 1 year, but yeah, he might stay because
them and the Cavs are the 2 surprises.
This
year.
I'm telling you right now, Cavs are going to fall off the cliff, man.
Yeah, they will.
Well, Sexton got hurt. So yeah,
tough that
And-
Sexton tore.
And Mobley looking real nice, man.
He is
even though they're playing that weird 3 center lineup, man. It's a little weird, man.
That's what makes Mobley so nice because he's able to play with 2 other bigs like that. That's crazy
true.
to me. Like, because he's not the big, I would say this like because Jared Allen is the actual center. Like Mobley's kind of like that in that small forward, power forward with marketing. So yeah, that's such a weird lineup, but they're making it work. And I actually, quiet as kept, I kind of like Garland and Rubio better together because they complement each other better, way better. Like Rubio, like you don't have 2 scorers back there. Rubio's a passer, so it makes the offense a whole lot more balanced. So I don't know. Sexton, they're probably going to insert him back whenever he does come back, but I would try to flip him for somebody, like another wing or something, if somebody would take him. I don't know who would be. And like you say, we didn't even mention the Heat. The East is freaking loaded, bro. It's loaded this year, bro. I'm telling
Bring
you,
on the Heat in the playoffs, man. Bring them on, man.
Hey,
Come
Zoo's
on,
not here
that ass.
any of it,
DeMar
man.
DeRozan is going to tear that ass up,
All right,
man.
Zoo,
Let's go.
Let me put it to you this way: if the Bulls make the finals against the Warriors, who do you got?
Chicago Bulls, baby.
No, that's just bias because you see that butt whooping they had against the Bulls.
Without
they
Vooch,
whooped them.
Without Vooch, you
Without
can't forget about our all-star caliber center,
Without Clay.
baby. We didn't have our center,
and they didn't have Clay.
I'm not big on Clay coming back. Actually, everybody keeps hyping that.
And Vucevic has been sucking, so it's pretty much one of the same.
The thing is, he can suck, but he's better than Tony Bradley, who is an atrocious.
I actually thought he was still on the Jazz.
Yeah,
I thought he was still
it
on the
might
Jazz.
as well
I didn't know he
be
was
because
on the
pretty
Bulls.
much when he plays, man, he plays for the other team sometimes because he's so dumb. My God, he's bad at basketball, man. Tony Bradley.
He's gonna have to. He's a
only-
rotational guy. So
Dude, he's only in the NBA because he's big. Only reason.
Hey man.
Zero skill. Can't dribble, can't pass, can't shoot. No intangibles.
Hey man, you should have. I should have a little bit of that DeRozan money and gave it to Daniel Gafford, man. There's another story for another day though. Should have gave some of that money to Daniel Gafford, man. I still can't get over that little. I did a highlight package with Russell last year on my on bullheaded_pod on IG, and it was funny. Like when Russell was playing with them, I kept seeing Daniel Gafford making all these alley-oop dunks. I was like, this guy that P. Bush and Zeus said suck is fucking. And the next thing you know, he gets paid. So I was like, like another miss by who's the GM for the Wolves?
Arturis, man.
Arturis, man. Another miss for Arturis, but you should have paid Gafford.
Miss? Stop it.
Gafford, man.
Stop it. Arturis, man. This is the man that got DeMar DeRozan, baby.
No joking.
My God.
I just saw those plays with Gafford. I was like, he's actually not as stiff. But yeah, the NBA season, I think, like you say, 25 games. I think beginning of January, we'll start to get a clarity because then once it gets to January, you'll see like what is that, a month before the All-Star break or a month and a half maybe
trade
for the All-Star break. So then you'll see the trade deadline of teams that are just going to do whatever. So we're going to see, like I say, I'm still going to stick with. I think the East is a whole lot deeper. The West injuries, people are going to come back. Like I'm really interested to see what Denver does. I know Michael Porter Jr., his whole back situation is kind of scary because you don't know if that's going to be lingering throughout the whole season or if that's just maybe it needs to take a month off. But that's scary. Lakers up and downs, not taking the Clippers serious. I know they're running their things, but they don't have Kawhi. Phoenix, like people are saying, they won 9 in a row, so maybe they're looking like the team to beat in the West. Portland, I don't know. So like I'm sticking with the East, man. I think that is, and it's funny. I've been watching more East basketball this year just because it's just been more interesting games. So I do want to see how the season plays out. But like we say, the NBA season is a marathon, so we're going to see with a lot of these teams, are moves going to be made, are teams going to fall off, or teams going to expand, and things of that nature. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Going down the home stretch of the NFL season, division races are heating up. A lot of quarterbacks got to get back on their A game. Aaron Rodgers. Here's another one that did it was a fantasy dud. I'm glad I didn't have him.
10 points, man.
Yeah,
Cost me my game.
Yeah, he's another dud of a fantasy guy.
That pick in the red zone. Come on, man.
Yeah, he just threw that up.
He never does that.
I don't know, Vince. I mean, I guess I just give him a COVID pass because maybe he really did have COVID and it affected him. I'll just give him that. But yeah, he's got to figure it out because their defense is playing and their defense is down a couple of starters. So Aaron,
they're balling.
Yeah, he better not have those situations where he's not playing well because you can't. Every year it's been like, well, he don't have a defense. Well, this year it's looking like he has a pretty good defense, so he better figure it out and get going because this might be one of his last years to figure it out in Green Bay and maybe ride off into the sunset. So, like I said, there's a lot of NFL coverage we're going to do. NBA coverage. Make sure you follow bullheaded_pod. Make sure you follow us on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, things of that nature. We'll come out every Thursday around 5 and 6 a.m. So if you guys are looking for something to listen to on the weekend or towards the end of the week, do that. For Zoo, me, and P. Bush, we're out.